Hey friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. It's a beautiful day outside today, and this time of year I'm going to take advantage of every beautiful day I get. So I thought it was the perfect day to grab the camera and spend a little time outside with you guys. So even though it's a beautiful day today, we are definitely in the off season of gardening. You know, gardening, at least in my area here in Connecticut, is done for the season. And while a little bit of a break is always nice, it is welcomed. I don't always feel that in the moment, but it is a good thing. A break is necessary sometimes. It is still a great time of year to be kind of dreaming and learning. If you're anything like me, it's a little bit hard can be a little bit hard to say goodbye to the garden at the end of the season. And I really love to spend the off season reading. You know, I like to read a lot of things, but specifically for purposes of this video, I like to read about gardening. I like to learn new skills. I like to get the knowledge to learn new skills this time of year, and it helps me to plan and get focused for when it comes time to plan next year's garden, which is going to be sooner than you think. So today I just wanted to share I've pared it down to 3 of my favorite gardening books that I thought, if you're anything like me, these might be just what you need to help you get through the colder months. And also, you know, as it's not actually all that far till Christmas, these also would make great gifts for any gardener on your Christmas list. So I've pared it down to 3 of my favorite gardening books. The first one I want to mention, and this was the first gardening book that I ever got when I was a brand new gardener and I didn't really know what I was doing. This book helped me so much. So this is a book that I would recommend. You know, I want to say for a new gardener, but honestly, I still do refer back to this book sometimes. And that is The Vegetable Gardener's Bible. I will go ahead and link all of these books in the video description so you don't have to worry about writing them down or remembering the title or the author. I'll put the links to them in the description. But this is the one that I would recommend for a brand new gardener. Now, when I was first learning how to garden, you know, I read this book over and over and I would refer back to it. So he starts off with, this is written by an organic gardener he's in northern New England, I want to say Vermont. So it's actually fairly similar to my growing climate, but I think a lot of what he has to say would work really well in any growing climate. So the first half of the book is all about organic gardening practices, just basically information about prepping your garden. And in the second half of the book, he talks about specific vegetables, certain things that you might need to know about growing certain vegetables, timelines, lots of great information. Now, I will say, as I got more experience gardening, as I got a little more confidence and had my own experience to draw from, I don't necessarily follow everything that he says in this book, but I think this is really a great starting point, especially if you are new and you aren't really comfortable with gardening on your own yet. I found this to be a really great resource, and it's just a great way to dream about the garden during the off season when it's too cold to actually get out and garden yourself. So this would be, as I said, the one I would recommend for a new gardener. So it's a little breezy out here today. I actually almost just lost my camera, so if the angle of the video changed a little bit, that's why. I'm trying to sit over here in this little kind of enclosed corner. I thought that might keep me out of the wind a little bit, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to fully be working. So we will just move on and do the best we can. The second book that I would recommend is called The Year-Round Vegetable Gardener. Now, I will say in this book, she does have a lot of basic gardening information as well. So this can also be useful if you are a new gardener. She has a section all about, you know, growing different types of vegetables and specifics for each vegetable. But I will say the real reason that I really love this book is because she talks a lot about season extension techniques. She is actually growing in Canada, so her climate is colder than mine. And she has a shorter season than mine, and she's actually able to harvest food and grow food year round, and I found that really inspiring. So her idea here for a basic hoop tunnel is something that I use regularly. I find that, you know, I live in Connecticut, where most winters are really too cold and too dark for us to really be able to grow food year round here. While I do a little bit, I grow microgreens inside, I definitely don't have the same options for growing that I do during the summer. And if you live in a warmer area, you may be able to grow year-round and be able to harvest year-round. Here in Connecticut, that's not really a possible thing without some sort of season extension. Now, I will say, despite reading this book several times and putting a lot of her wisdom into practice, I still have not quite cracked the code of being able to harvest as much food as she does year-round, but I'm going to keep trying. And I have definitely been able to extend my harvest season using some of her suggestions here. So I really enjoy this book. I will say she also has beautiful pictures in this book. You know, I'm such a visual learner, so I find it really useful. A book that has full color pictures, that has lots of illustrations, I find that to be a really useful learning technique for me. So if you're anything like me, again, you'll enjoy this book too. So this is one that I definitely recommend. So this can be useful, as I said, if you're a beginning gardener, but really I would recommend this for someone who has a little bit of experience under their belt and is looking to expand, basically expand your growing season a little bit. So this can be particularly useful for either someone who lives in a cold climate like I do and wants to be able to, extend a short growing season, or alternatively, if you live in a really warm climate and you're hoping to be able to grow all year round, that could be a great book for you too. So definitely enjoy that one. The third book and the final book that I'm going to recommend today is called Gaia's Garden. This is not as much of a beginning gardening book. This doesn't have as much how to grow certain vegetables. It doesn't have as much, there is some information about starting a garden, but this is more about a gardening philosophy. If you are interested in permaculture at all, you will definitely enjoy this book. I really enjoyed this because I love the idea of permaculture. I love the idea of being able to garden a little more sustainably, to be able to, nature, if you look around us, nature is amazing at growing all these plants. Plants grow out in the woods without any human intervention. And the idea of permaculture is basically borrowing from nature, seeing how these plants grow in relationship with each other and they're able to benefit each other without having to be constantly managed by humans. So the idea of this is to basically take a lot of those principles and those concepts and to be able to use them in your own garden or in your own landscaping. Basically, when you work with nature as opposed to against nature, gardening becomes so much easier and you're so much likely to be successful, so much more likely. The breeze is picking up again, so I'm hoping that the wind sound won't be too loud in this video. But anyway, I really enjoy this book because permaculture is something that I'm still learning. If you've been watching my videos over the past couple of years, you've seen ways that I'm trying to use permaculture principles and techniques in my little yard where I have been growing fruit trees, using fruit tree grills, things like that. A lot of those ideas came from this book. And I think that this is a really great book if you already have some gardening knowledge and experience under your belt and you're looking to expand that knowledge and to really understand how plants grow in relationship with each other. On that note, it is a little bit breezy out here, as I'm sure you can probably see leaves flying all around me. So I'm hoping that, as I said, the audio isn't too bad. So if you're looking for something to read this winter, something to get you through the cold months, or if you're looking for a great gift idea for a gardener on your list, I would recommend any of these books. As I said, I will leave the books in the video description. If you have any other gardening books that you love and that you would really recommend, I would love to hear from you too. Because, just like you, I'm going into the cold off season where the garden is just going to be, this past year's garden will be a memory and next year's garden is still a dream. I haven't really gotten into the planning stages of this coming garden yet, although I will soon. So I would love some new reading material. If you have any books that you would love to recommend, I would love to hear them. So I hope you all are having a great day and I can't wait to see you soon. I'll see you next time.